Welcome back to GameVault HQ, the ultimate destination for deep dives into the gaming world's most influential titles. Today, we're cracking open the vault on a game that redefines stealth action and storytelling in video games, Metal Gear Solid. Whether you're a veteran sneaking your way through Shadow Moses or a newcomer curious about the series' legendary status, this episode is for you. So grab your codec, check your rations, and let's dive into the labyrinthine world of espionage, nanomachines, and tactical espionage action. Before we delve into the intricate plot and groundbreaking gameplay of Metal Gear Solid, it's essential to understand its roots. The brainchild of Hideo Kojima, a visionary game designer at Konami, the Metal Gear series began in 1987 with the release of Metal Gear for the MSX2. This 8-bit title laid the foundation for what would become a revolutionary franchise. Kojima's concept was simple yet innovative, a game focused on avoiding combat rather than engaging in it. This was a stark contrast to the arcade and action-heavy games of the time. The protagonist, Solid Snake, had to infiltrate enemy bases and avoid detection, a gameplay mechanic that would become the hallmark of the series. By the time Metal Gear Solid was released for the PlayStation in 1998, Kojima had honed his craft, combining his love for cinema with his innovative approach to gameplay. The result was a game that not only played like a dream but also felt like an interactive movie. Metal Gear Solid is set in the late 20th century on the fictional Shadow Moses Island, located in Alaska's Fox Archipelago. The plot revolves around Solid Snake, a retired soldier brought back into action to neutralize a terrorist threat posed by the rogue Special Forces unit, Foxhound. Our protagonist, Solid Snake, is the epitome of the reluctant hero. A former member of Foxhound, Snake is a legendary soldier who has seen more than his fair share of battles. His grizzled demeanor and taciturn nature hide a complex character with a haunted past.
The antagonists in Metal Gear Solid are as memorable as the protagonist. Each member of Foxhound is a unique and formidable foe. Liquid Snake, the game's primary antagonist and Snake's genetic twin. Liquid is charismatic and ruthless, driven by a desire to surpass his brother and prove his superiority. Revolver Ocelot, a gunslinger with a penchant for torture, Ocelot is a cunning and manipulative adversary. Psycho Mantis, a psychic with telekinetic abilities, Mantis's boss fight is one of the most innovative in gaming history. Sniper Wolf, a deadly sniper with a tragic backstory, Wolf's character adds emotional depth to the narrative. Vulcan Raven, a giant of a man with a mystical connection to ravens, providing a physically imposing challenge. Decoy Octopus, a master of disguise, though his role is less prominent in the game, he adds to the overall atmosphere of unpredictability. Metal Gear Solid was revolutionary not just for its storytelling but also for its gameplay mechanics. At its core, the game is about stealth. Players must navigate through environments without being detected, using a combination of tactics, gadgets, and quick thinking. One of the game's most innovative features is the codec system. This in-game communication device allows Snake to communicate with his support team, providing players with hints, plot exposition, and character development. The codec conversations are rich with detail, often breaking the fourth wall and adding a layer of meta-narrative that was groundbreaking for its time. The boss battles in Metal Gear Solid are legendary, each requiring a unique approach and strategy. From the psychological warfare of Psycho Mantis to the sniper duel with Sniper Wolf, these encounters are not just tests of reflexes but also of ingenuity.
The game's stealth mechanics were unlike anything seen before. Players had to avoid detection by using a variety of tactics, such as hiding in boxes, crawling through vents, and using distraction techniques. When combat was unavoidable, players had access to an arsenal of weapons and gadgets, but the emphasis was always on stealth over brute force. One of the defining features of Metal Gear Solid is its cinematic storytelling. Kojima's love for film is evident in every cutscene, every line of dialogue, and every plot twist. The game's story is a complex web of intrigue, betrayal, and philosophical questions about war, genetics, and identity. The game opens with Snake infiltrating the Shadow Moses facility via an underwater insertion. This sequence sets the tone for the entire game, blending high-stakes action with a meticulous attention to detail. The opening credits roll as Snake swims towards the facility, accompanied by a haunting score that immediately immerses players in the game's world. Metal Gear Solid features extensive cutscenes, rendered in engine, that advance the story and develop the characters. These cutscenes are notable for their high production values, dramatic camera angles, and excellent voice acting. David Hayter's performance as Solid Snake is iconic, delivering a gravelly, world-weary voice that perfectly matches the character. Beyond its gameplay and storytelling, Metal Gear Solid is a game that tackles complex themes and philosophical questions. Kojima uses the game's narrative to explore issues such as the nature of war, the ethics of genetic engineering, and the concept of free will.
One of the central themes of Metal Gear Solid is the nature of war. The game portrays war as a cyclical and destructive force, driven by politics, ideology, and the human condition. Characters like Solid Snake and Liquid Snake embody different aspects of this theme, with Snake being the weary soldier seeking peace and Liquid being the militant idealist. The game also delves into the concept of genetic destiny, particularly through the relationship between Solid Snake and Liquid Snake. As clones of the legendary soldier Big Boss, they are literally products of genetic engineering, and their struggle reflects the larger question of whether one's fate is determined by genetics or personal choice. Metal Gear Solid is also a commentary on the role of technology in warfare. The game's titular Metal Gear is a bipedal nuclear weapon, representing the ultimate fusion of technology and war. Throughout the game, players encounter various forms of advanced technology, from stealth camouflage to cybernetic enhancements, prompting questions about the ethics and consequences of technological advancement. The impact of Metal Gear Solid on the gaming industry cannot be overstated. It set new standards for what video games could achieve in terms of narrative complexity, cinematic presentation, and innovative gameplay mechanics. Its success spawned numerous sequels, prequels, and spin-offs, each expanding on the rich lore and gameplay foundations established by the original. Many games that followed in the wake of Metal Gear Solid were influenced by its design and storytelling. Titles like Splinter Cell, Hitman, and even The Last of Us owe a debt to Kojima's masterpiece. The game's emphasis on stealth, cinematic presentation, and complex narratives has become a blueprint for countless developers.
The success of Metal Gear Solid led to a series of sequels that expanded on its story and gameplay mechanics. Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty introduced new characters and plot twists, while Metal Gear Solid 3: Snake Eater took players back to the Cold War era, exploring the origins of Big Boss. Each subsequent game in the series built upon the legacy of the original, adding new layers of depth and complexity. The enduring legacy of Metal Gear Solid is also reflected in its passionate fan community. Fans have created countless pieces of fan art, fan fiction, and even fan-made games inspired by the series. The game's characters, particularly Solid Snake, have become cultural icons, recognized even by those who may not have played the games. The influence of Metal Gear Solid extends beyond the gaming community into broader pop culture. References to the game can be found in movies, TV shows, and even other video games. The iconic exclamation mark and alert sound when a guard spots Snake has become a universally recognized symbol of stealth gaming. As we look to the future, the fate of the Metal Gear Solid series remains uncertain. Hideo Kojima's departure from Konami in 2015 marked the end of an era, and the series' future without its creator is a topic of much speculation. However, the impact and legacy of Metal Gear Solid are secure, and its influence will continue to be felt for years to come. Since leaving Konami, Hideo Kojima has continued to innovate in the gaming industry with his new studio, Kojima Productions. His first post-Konami project, Death Stranding, showcases his continued commitment to pushing the boundaries of interactive storytelling and gameplay.
To truly appreciate Metal Gear Solid, it's worth taking a look behind the scenes at the making of this groundbreaking game. Kojima and his team at Konami faced numerous challenges and made several bold decisions that ultimately shaped the final product. Developing a game as ambitious as Metal Gear Solid was no small feat. The team had to push the limits of the PlayStation hardware to create the detailed environments and complex AI behaviors that define the game's stealth mechanics. This required innovative programming techniques and a relentless commitment to quality. Kojima's love for cinema heavily influenced the game's design and presentation. He drew inspiration from a wide range of films, including action movies, espionage thrillers, and science fiction classics. This cinematic approach is evident in the game's dramatic camera angles, scripted sequences, and intricate plot twists. The music of Metal Gear Solid is another key element that contributes to its immersive experience. Composed by Tappy Wace and Konami's sound team, the game's soundtrack blends orchestral compositions with electronic elements, creating a tense and atmospheric soundscape. The main theme of Metal Gear Solid is instantly recognizable and has become synonymous with the series. Its haunting melody and dynamic arrangement perfectly capture the game's mix of action, suspense, and emotional depth. Other tracks, like The Best Is Yet to Come, add layers of poignancy and reflection to the narrative.
In addition to the music, the game's audio design plays a crucial role in the gameplay experience. The sounds of footsteps, gunfire, and environmental noises all contribute to the tension and realism of the stealth mechanics. The voice acting, as mentioned earlier, is also top-notch, with memorable performances that bring the characters to life. Metal Gear Solid was met with critical acclaim upon its release, earning high scores from reviewers and winning numerous awards. Critics praised its innovative gameplay, engrossing story, and cinematic presentation, cementing its status as a classic. The game received several Game of the Year awards and was recognized for its achievements in various categories, including Best Graphics, Best Sound, and Best Story. It also earned a place in several greatest games of all time lists, reflecting its lasting impact on the industry. Players around the world were captivated by Metal Gear Solid, and it quickly developed a dedicated fan base. The game's mix of action, stealth, and storytelling resonated with gamers, leading to strong sales and a lasting legacy. Fans continue to celebrate and revisit the game, keeping its spirit alive through fan projects and community events. Given the enduring popularity of Metal Gear Solid, it's no surprise that the game has been remade and re-released several times. Each version offers a new way for players to experience the classic adventure and introduces the game to new generations of fans. In 2004, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes was released for the Nintendo GameCube. This remake featured updated graphics, re-recorded voice acting, and new gameplay mechanics inspired by Metal Gear Solid 2. While some fans appreciated the enhancements, others felt that the changes altered the original game's tone and balance.
The game has also been included in various HD collections, allowing players to enjoy it on modern consoles. These re-releases often feature improved graphics and performance, making it easier than ever to revisit the world of Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is more than just a game, it's a landmark achievement in the medium of video games. Its blend of innovative gameplay, cinematic storytelling, and complex themes set a new standard for what games could be. Whether you're replaying it for the umpteenth time or experiencing it for the first time, Metal Gear Solid remains a timeless classic that continues to inspire and captivate players around the world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Metal Gear Solid. Stay tuned to GameVault HQ for more in-depth explorations of the greatest games of all time. And remember, the next time you hear the codec beep, you never know what secrets might be waiting on the other end.